So tell us about yourself and how you ended up on all these viral clips that got millions of views, and how did you end up here? And
Yeah, so the viral clips, just me talking about, women, obviously.
Why can't everyone feel like a 10?
Everyone has flaws, though, so nobody's perfect.
We're looking at a number scale now.
It's based on results.
Your
Results.
outcomes.
Well, what sort of results? Like, how many people am I fucking?
Even ugly girls can get laid. The real question for women is, how many guys want to marry you?
Those went viral. One chick was trying to talk about how she's a 10 because she has an overinflated ego, obviously.
And a midsection, it's
yeah,
overinflated.
She looked like a human caterpillar, fat as fuck. And just super out of shape. But she thought she was a 10, trying to say how she was a 10. And the girls who were on the lineup, or the guests, those girls were, a lot more attractive than her. But they were saying,
I saw another clip today that said Lizzo was a 10.
Yeah, and so all these girls were like, yeah, I think I'm a 7, because the guy asked, what would you guys rate yourselves? All the girls were like, oh, 7, maybe an 8, and then the fattest girl, the ugliest girl in the group was like, I'm a 10, and all the girls were like, bro, what? And so we had to humble her real quick. That went viral.
Don't you think it has a lot to do with a woman's confidence and how she carries herself?
Yeah, right.
That's called delusion.
Yeah,
no, I disagree.
Because it's okay to say that it's okay to look at yourself as like a catch or a prize, but at the same time, a lot of these girls have such high egos that they feel like they don't have any more room to grow. So when you say you're a 10, there's nothing past 10.
If you're committing slow suicide by food, you definitely have a lot more room to grow, which these women tend to do because it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Lizzo ain't healthy. I just saw on Twitter, there was a woman, one of these body positivity activists who was morbidly obese, 37 years old, just dropped dead of was a heart disease or a heart attack or something like that. It's you can't live that way and have a long life. You're basically eating yourself to death. You're committing slow suicide by food, and that's not healthy. I don't care what they say in the magazines, body positivity, it's a bunch of bullshit. I know about a year and a half ago, there was another body positivity activist. I think she was 44, 45, and she dropped dead of a heart attack because, again, you can't get that big, your body. So what's interesting about that is if you take care of yourself and you eat healthy and you're lean and fast and you exercise, your genes think you're a productive organism in nature. But if you are overweight and unhealthy and sickly, there's actually genes in your body that will be turned on that causes cancer or other things to eliminate you, because nature doesn't want unhealthy organisms living and breeding, and they get in the animal kingdom, they get eliminated. And so that's what's really interesting. People that, I mean, you look at like when they study people from Japan and how it's a lot of rice, a lot of fish and vegetables, and people living past 100 is a pretty normal thing in Japanese society, even though here in, I think, the United States, the longevity has actually gone down over the last few years. It's like 74, 75 years. And when 74% of all Americans are either obese or they're overweight, and you see these body positivity people that are, morbidly obese, and then they're dropping dead at 37 years old.
Yep.
And everybody's, clapping for them and basically validating them.
Yeah.
And they end up in an early grave. They literally eat themselves to death. Slow suicide by food. So there's nothing to be proud about that. It's just the body positivity is a story around eating unhealthy and not exercising, and that all it does is enable the person to, in essence, kill themselves with food and drink.
So I guess we go to the very beginning of where I first learned your work and why I'm here today. So yeah, when I was 15 or 16, I was going through some heartbreaks. I was struggling with women. I never had an issue with attracting women, but I always had a problem with maintaining the attraction long term, keeping the girl long term, staying in my masculine, keeping my frame. And so I came across your work through YouTube, searching up some videos. Why won't this girl text me back? Why won't this girl respond? Right? Started watching the videos, right? And like we say, cherry pick the videos. I've gone through the same thing, and everything you say.
You were a cherry picker?
In the very beginning, cherry picked for a few months. I was like, okay, cool. Some of the things he's saying work, so I knew it worked. I didn't read the book, and that was the number one mistake. Is I didn't read the book. I was watching a few videos. Like, all right, cool, I could watch a few videos. Whenever I have a problem, I'm just gonna watch a video. And then I never got to reading the book. And then a few months later, got my heart broken. I'm like, fuck, okay, it's time to read the book. Read the book, started seeing results. And then, yeah, I started getting better with women. Longer term.
How many times did you read it?
I read it 13 times.
13.
Yeah. So I did.
So you're obviously Asian, which means you're kind of like genius level smart. So.
Yeah. So it's super fast learning, super fast knowledge. And it's funny because
Took
me and
a
my
week.
brother, we went to all Asian school. So like usually we're competing with super smart Asian kids, but we're probably the most dumbest Asian kids. Like compared to them, like we were the fuck offs, bad grades.
So you're one of the short bus kids that have stopped by my podcast now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was the odd one out, man. I was always the odd one out. We started reading the book, started seeing a lot of results, and I started getting girls like nothing, and I started getting a lot of girlfriends, started getting a lot more female attention, and then a lot of guys at my school were always asking me like, yo, how'd you get the girl? How'd you meet this girl? One video, I was telling you at lunch or whatever, one girl I just met, and one of my buddies was recording the whole experience, walked up to this girl at Cane's, this chicken restaurant, whatever, walked up, we locked eye contact, and then we just started making out right then and there, and all the coworkers were like cheering us on inside the building, and it was a pretty funny video, and that was the first video that went viral of me.
You just met her like fucking 20 minutes ago. Oh my god.
And my buddy posted it and went super viral, and I got a bunch of DMs of guys asking me, yo, how'd you do that? How'd you meet that girl? You know, I was like, oh,
And
cool.
it worked because you could tell she liked you already.
Yeah, 100%.
She was eye fucking you basically.
Yeah, and that's the best. Is like it's super easy, super effortless. And you didn't even feel like I didn't have to second guess or question. It was just like instant. I just knew what to do. And a lot of guys started asking me, yo, where'd you learn this stuff? How are you getting so good with these girls? I remember I used to like struggle, used to be a simp. And a lot of guys came to me for advice, and I was told them, like, Coach Corey Wayne, man, you gotta read the book, you gotta go listen to Coach Corey Wayne, and I'd show them your work, they'd be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, he's old, you know, he sounds weird, whatever. They made some dumb excuse to why they didn't want to listen to him.
That's their story.
That's their story.
That's the excuse that he's too old.
Yeah.
I don't listen to that guy. His fucking head shaved. I don't like that.
Yeah, and
Screw
so
that guy. I don't like his voice.
Yeah, and so basically I was all right, cool, freaking I'm just gonna give out advice on these TikTok apps, and it was the same thing that you said, the exact same thing, same advice. I always make sure to shout you out on every single video if you watch any of my podcasts or YouTube videos.
I appreciate that because most people are usually, when they learn my stuff and it does really well and they decide they want to teach it, is they just steal it and act like they just learned it all on their own, and then they do videos hating on me. Because if you put my name in a video and basically say Corey Wayne sucks, or it's, you know, clout chasing, you're going to get a lot of views. And so I appreciate the fact that you call me out in a positive way.
Yeah, 100%.
Instead of trying to ride my coattails and off my trademark. And
yeah. I mean, I just try to be super honest about where I learn all my information. Every single book I read and everything I apply, hey, this is where I learned it from, this is where I learned this from. But I think just people liked watching me because I was younger, you know, maybe because I was also Asian, I was short. A lot of guys would be like, wow, I can actually look at this guy. I have no excuse now. This guy is Asian, this guy is short, you know, he has acne. Like, how the fuck is he doing this? And like you said, looks doesn't matter. Like, looks is a very small part of the game, and it's totally true. It's like, once you understand this stuff, like, dude, girls stop looking at all those things. But it's very important to take care of how you look, obviously, and take care of yourself. But yeah, man, I think a lot of guys could look to me and be like, holy shit, I have no excuses now to why I'm not getting girls or why I'm not having good relationships with the girls.
Found you very relatable because you're closer in their age group.
Yep.
It was probably also a demographic that you were able to catch, like the Asian culture, also just
Yeah.
so we got
kids who
the
are going
Jewish
through.
mafia represented, and we have the Asian mafia
Well,
represented.
we're both Asian.
And the Cuban
technically.
mafia.
Yeah,
Both
and-
Asian. We're both Asians.
Yeah, we're
young people.
Asians, you know.
And the
Both
Venezuelans,
Asians.
of course, in the back.
We got the Asians, we got the Spaniards, we got the Italians.
We got all the victim cards.
We got all the victims.
So I kind of caught something and
Chunky's
kind of
black.
threw me off here. So
From the waist down.
So
I missed that one.
so I've noticed you
spicy.
were talking about the girl on the podcast that says that she's a 10, right? I actually saw that podcast. So what I'm kind of thrown off about is like, okay, granted, you do have to take care of your body because obviously that leads to that kind of body positivity. But Corey likes to preach a lot about how like the number one thing that a woman loves in a man is confidence. I think it should also be the other way around because a man also loves a woman that's confident.
Right.
However, you were saying that at 16 years old, you had acne up the ass.
Yeah.
And the girl still liked you. Doesn't that contradict the whole the number one thing that a person finds attractive is confidence rather than body looks
No,
or
it doesn't
self-image.
contradict it. If anything, it's promoting it.
I say it in my
because-
videos all the time. The number one most important thing that is matters to you, as far as a male strength characteristic or masculine trait that you find sexy and attractive in men, is always confidence.
But
When
that
you
should
get a bunch
also
of
apply
guys
to
in
the
a
should
woman
room,
also
too.
apply to the women, because if a woman doesn't have self-confidence, she's not going to shine in a room full
On
Well,
top of
there's
that,
a-
guys
there's a
don't
big
like
titty,
that
she'll
either.
shine.
No, well, there's a
just
difference
fine.
between confidence
matter.
and
You might not want to
arrogance.
stay with
I
her.
agree. I
No,
agree.
yeah.
Some girls are
And
very
with an
arrogant.
ego.
Yeah, some girls have very high egos. It's not true confidence.
And they
Some
could be
girls-
like the most beautiful girl ever, and they could have an ego that makes them the ugliest human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, so over
Because
this,
it got
yeah,
blown
so-
up on Seeking Arrangement,
Yep,
OnlyFans, and
I just had to understand
Ollie
because
other
it's like
places.
I just had to understand because
Sugar
that kind
daddies.
of threw me off.
Yeah, the
Sugar
line
dating.
gets blurry between confidence and ego and
Mm.
arrogance with girls. But I mean, for guys, specifically for guys, confidence is just through taking action and believing in yourself. And when you're approaching girls, that mindset of being more confident, knowing that you're gonna get the girl or the girls are attracted to you, works way better. And girls are already assuming those things. That's the catch. Is girls already assume all guys are attracted to them. The second a guy looks at them or talks to them, the girls already assume
I don't
this
think
guy's
that's
into me.
true, though.
It's a very natural thing, and girls are really, really good at it too.
I don't think
I think
that's
the
true.
one thing guys have to learn how to do. Now.
Reality is attraction's not a choice. Mother Nature has handled that, and within 3 seconds, all women know that. Oh yeah, I would date him. I would sleep with him.
I just basically did all the things that I wanted to see. And that's the one things that kind of grew is like I wanted to get connected with guys who read the book. And so I was like, damn, I want to find more guys who read the book. Because every single time I tried to hand the book out or teach the information or give the information out to other guys, it'd be super hard to find other dudes who were on that level or like-minded men. And so it was only just me and my brother Nathan who were on that level of understanding women. We understood, like, cool, like, this is the basic shit. Because you can't trust guys who can't even understand women. Like, you even said in business, like, you don't want to work with guys who are having bad relationships with their wife or they're doing weird shit, you know? So it's like, that's how I thought of it as well. So I created the Alphas Only Club, which is basically based off your community, the top 3% of dudes, the 3% club. And I started finding more guys who read the book or even new guys who never read the book. And once they read the book, they came into the community, started getting connected. I started hosting seminars with over like hundreds of people online, talking to hundreds of people live. And, you know, they'd ask questions, we'd give them advice, and just back and forth, just talking about random shit that you couldn't talk about in school. And because a lot of these topics, they're not taught in school. You know, kids, they can't talk it with their parents, right? Their friends don't even understand women. And so it was very nice for new guys to talk about women and learn about women to guys who were actually getting it, you know? And that's one thing I wish is like, dude, I wish I could talk to Corey, but I just didn't have the money at the time to afford like a one-on-one call. And so, you know, for younger guys, it's a very affordable option to talk in like a group setting or a seminar or find a group where you can talk to these guys. And so I built my community based off that. Now we
And
host.
what's the community? What's the web address?
So you go to alphasonlyclub.com, and that's where you could get access to like in-person events. We just started hosting our in-person events. I told you a little bit about the in-person events, but I keep that a little bit private. But yeah, we host in-person events. We have the guys all over the world who have listened to your book, read your book.
And Logan is writing his own book. He's writing his own coaching manual, if you will.
Yeah,
We've been
yeah.
talking about that.
So that's in the works, and then
Which we're very excited for you.
yeah. So we're gonna stay connected with that, but yeah. So that's basically what I built my whole community off of, which was your work, and all the guys who follow me know who you are, and they definitely look up to you, and it's awesome, man. So, yeah.
Well, as Lord Acton said, liberty exists in the distribution of power, tyranny, and the concentration of it. And the knowledge is the important thing.
Yep.
As Thomas Jefferson said, for those of you who are familiar, the quote's on the back of every book. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppressions of body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. I can't be everywhere, can't coach everybody, and so I like when guys like Logan come along and learn it and become competent at it, and then they're able to teach and help, because the more people understand this, the more self-reliant our country's going to be, the stronger it's going to be, the safer it's going to be, the better the kids in the future are going to turn out to be, the stronger the men are going to be and their families are going to be.
Yep.
Because they understand their girl, despite the bullshit that tends to come out of her mouth sometimes, and he'll know how to handle her to keep his family together. Because a dude that's in fear is easy to manipulate. And if the alphas of the world are in their masculine and their women are in their feminine and they're solid at home, they're the strongest they can ever be. And so when you look at all the way down to the front lines of our soldiers, it's like a dude that's worried about bullshit going on back home with his girl is checked out mentally, and that's the difference between life and death in combat. Everything's good back home. It helps him focus on the task at hand, so if they see any bad guys, they can take the bad guys out before they can take them out.
Yep.
So it's literally will save people's lives, save the lives of our troops.
Yep. They think all this is just about girls, but there's a much bigger purpose behind the book and learning this stuff. Is girls are the surface level. Once you start reading the book multiple times, you start to realize, oh shit, this isn't even about girls.
It heightens your
It's more-
sensory
Yep.
acuity, and you also sense danger
Yep.
better and quicker and easier. It develops your spidey sense. It helps you read other people.
Yep.
And if you're in a negotiation and you're sitting across from a CEO, you're not going to be intimidated because you heard him say a few things about his wife and his family, and you're like, oh, he's a bitch.
Yep.
It's like, I got this.
Yep.
And just that little bit, it's a little ego boost, but that's enough for you when you were nervous to calm your nerves so you get the job versus, putting your foot in your mouth and saying something stupid because you recognize that I know something that this dude doesn't know that's 2-3 times my age.
Yep.